Hello everyone, and welcome to my UK Royal Family News channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. In a crucial encounter for UK-US ties, King Charles will host Joe Biden for tea at Windsor. Later on July 10, King Charles and US President Joe Biden will have a meeting at Windsor Castle. Later today, King Charles and Joe Biden will meet at Windsor Castle for a crucial discussion on UK-US ties. The monarch will give the US president, who arrived in the UK on Sunday evening, a warm welcome complete with ceremony. The Welsh Guards will perform the US national anthem for President Biden, and he will take tea with the king after receiving a royal salute. After the climate finance mobilization session, the two will meet with influential business and charity figures. The U.S. president's trip, which has been called a mini-state visit, comes at a time when ties between the two countries seem to be tense. According to The Telegraph, Rishi Sunak is currently at conflicts with the president over cluster bombs in Ukraine. The government is hoping that King Charles can repair U.S.-UK relations because he is described as a gifted diplomat and much liked by world leaders. According to Sunak, the UK discourages the deployment of cluster bombs and that it will keep assisting Ukraine against Russia's illegal and unprovoked invasion. His remarks came in response to the US's controversial decision to send them to Ukraine. This morning, the Prime Minister will see Biden in London before traveling to Windsor to meet the King. Biden and King Charles will also utilize their visit to raise awareness of climate change challenges. The two will conduct a symposium that will discuss ways to motivate private businesses to invest more in sustainable energy initiatives, with an emphasis on developing economies. The president has great respect for the king's commitment on the climate issue in particular, that he has been a clarion voice on this issue and more than that, has been an actor, someone who has mobilized action and effort, said Jake Sullivan, the national security advisor, to reporters on Air Force One as Biden was traveling to the UK. The president therefore approaches this with great goodwill. Since Joe Biden's coronation in May, the king and Joe Biden have not spoken before the visit. However, the US president chose not to attend the momentous occasion. In his place, Jill Biden attended the event. There has been some anticipation for the meeting, according to royal correspondent Cameron Walker, who spoke before the president arrived at Windsor Castle. He stated to GB News, "The red carpet has been rolled out here at Windsor Castle today. The excitement has been building since Thursday." 2 U.S. military helicopters were seen flying over the castle, seemingly in practice for Biden's visit, the report stated. The two will meet in the quadrangle of Windsor Castle, and the conclusion will be delivered to them after the meeting. Lip readers have revealed what King Charles said to Meghan and Harry before leaving the celebration. In 2018, the Sussexes attended a birthday party as special guests of Charles, but their abrupt departure from the event caused controversy. Royal fans were left in a frenzy of curiosity after Prince Harry and Meghan left a party shortly after chatting with then Prince Charles. But a lip reader has provided an alternate interpretation. After the unexpected departure from the Buckingham Palace garden party to celebrate the Prince of Wales' 70th birthday in 2018, a royal commentator went so far as to say that they had been asked to leave. Despite the fact that the family seemed content and at ease during the occasion, according to Lady Colin Campbell, the reality was quite different. In a recently found video, Meghan and Harry are seen interacting with attendees at the celebration just days after getting married. The Duchess can be heard complimenting one woman's jewelry. A staff member approaches them and pretends to inform Harry that Charles wants to speak with him. The moment Harry moves aside, his father can be seen speaking softly to him and putting his hand on his arm. Before giving his father a pat on the back and turning to face Meghan again, Harry nods and gestures in his direction. Before returning to the palace with staff, the two bid Camilla and the group they were speaking with farewell and wished them a pleasant rest of their afternoon. There is a lot more to this story than what first appearances might imply, according to author Lady Colin Campbell. who stated that she was absolutely gobsmacked and astonished when she learned what transpired. Lady Colin writes in her book Meghan and Harry, the real story, that Harry and Meghan plunged in, glad-handing those who had been selected for introductions. She had everyone in awe. She turned to Harry after the event had been going on for 15 minutes and said, "Harry, this is so dull. Let's go now." He told her that they would have to stay, which is to his credit. "But Harry, this is so boring," she said. "We've performed our part. Everyone is aware of our presence. Let's move." They continued after Harry insisted that they must remain. Lip readers, however, informed the Daily Mail that Harry had actually been called for, and that the conversation was much more harmless than Lady Colin had claimed. The lip reader then reported Charles telling Harry, "We are going now, we have to leave." Following his, "You go ahead" response, Harry turned back to face Meghan. Harry responded, "Yes, catch up after," to Charles, closing, "We will go now, see you later." Then Camilla quickly approaches to say farewell and adds, "Just coming to say goodbye, we will see you later." Why Camilla might be hesitant to approach Biden when standing next to him. Despite being above politics, King Charles won't waste his time with the most powerful person in the world and will certainly bring up the issues surrounding the global environment. People trying to overrule the king enrage him more than anything. Before the first state visit by then U.S. President Donald Trump to Britain in July 2018, reports said that whenever the two met, Charles would rant at the other man, metaphorically thrusting a copy of his book on climate change into his palm, thudding the table, and demanding he take action. Prince of Wales Charles at the time was truly perplexed. But why would they think that? He inquired of a close aide. The unfavorable headlines also rankled the White House, and displeased Washington insiders made it known that President Trump saw the prince as a member of the urban elite. Unfortunately, the two guys did not cross paths during that stay. However, they were already acquainted when they did sit down for a conversation over afternoon tea a year later, in June 2019, on his 3-day state visit to Britain. He extended his hand to the president and said, "Hello, Donald," as he got out of Marine One and onto the palace lawn. Climate change was at the top of Charles' list of subjects to address with the world's most powerful leader during their visit at Clarence House. Their 15-minute conversation ended up lasting an hour and a half, and according to Trump, he spoke the most of the time. He, Charles, is a very wonderful person who wants to create a world that's beneficial for future generations, remarked President Trump, a climate change denial, afterward. His love for the globe was what most impressed me. President Joe Biden is now speaking. The U.S. president, who provoked unfounded rumors of a snub when he sent his wife Jill, the First Lady, rather than himself to the King's coronation, made a passionate speech about Ireland during his visit there in April, referring to it as part of his soul. On Sunday night, he arrived on Air Force One at Stansted Airport. Of course, the president has been to Britain previously. He paid his respects at the late Queen Elizabeth II's burial last September and traveled briefly to Northern Ireland earlier this year to commemorate the Good Friday Agreement's 25th anniversary. He will once more try to strengthen his close relationship with the U.S.'s most important ally during the non-stop charm attack. He will have meetings with the King and Prime Minister Rishi Sunak before a crucial NATO conference that could affect how the war in Ukraine develops. Biden's three-nation journey started today with a stop in London. After there, he will travel to Helsinki, the capital of Finland, the newest member of NATO, before heading to Vilnius, the capital of Lithuania, for a summit of NATO leaders. The war in Ukraine and other pressing contemporary concerns will be discussed by Biden and Sunak. Even if King Charles is beyond politics, he will surely bring up environmental issues with the most powerful person in the world, rather than wasting their time. Charles wrote a letter to Biden as soon as he assumed office, expressing his great encouragement in his plans to make the global climate catastrophe a primary priority. In his campaign to persuade governments and large business to address the climate emergency, he views Biden as a potent ally. His visit is more of a stopover on the way to Lithuania than the extravagant state that Trump's was. Some government officials and political observers have been dissatisfied by Biden, especially in light of UK Defence Secretary Ben Wallace's failed candidacy to command NATO. Naturally, Camilla, the wife of Prince Charles, will meet the president once more this week. She could pause this time before approaching the 80-year-old leader of the free world up close. He allegedly passed out in front of her when they last met at a COP26 reception in Glasgow in 2021, leaving her in stitches. According to reports, it was so long and loud that it was difficult to ignore. Of course, the appropriately called Trump, whose last name in British English means, you guessed it, a fart, was also described as loud and impossible to ignore by some. Thanks for watching if you like this video. So please don't forget to subscribe my channel and don't miss any update.